Producer C.Jai here, and I'm just gonna break down how I came up with my Midwest type beat that you guys have listened to. So I'm gonna just dive right into it. So usually, if I'm producing a song, I will start with the bass line because I consider that the foundation. So I'm just gonna go ahead and mute that for you guys so you can hear. So this is the introduction. Then the bass line just loops and loops. All right, so that's the bass line. So after I came up with the bass line, I started thinking of counter melodies and what other instruments I would like to incorporate. And I'm a pianist, so I usually choose keyboard or piano sound. And that's when I came up with the chord progressions that I came up with to go along with the bass. So yeah, the piano part kind of serves as a counter melody to the bass line. And then we have a tons of other percussion instruments here. We got shakers, triangle part, congas, bongos. And later on in the track, we have a tambourine that comes in, as you can see over here. But all of the percussion parts that I add just simply serve as sugar on top. Um, just to add and bring out all these other sounds that you won't get from tonal instruments like a piano or a bass. So I'm just gonna go ahead and play the track from the fifth bar so you can hear the difference. Well, I guess the 13th. So I meant to start on the fifth, but it started on the 13th. But either way, you can see where the shaker is incorporated. Actually, I do want to pay it back at the fifth because we have two different types of percussion loops that I added on here, and I typically wouldn't use sample based loops because I'm like a musician myself, so I prefer acoustic instruments over anything. They just give me the best sound, in my opinion. But in this case, I didn't really have percussion instruments at my disposal, so I just decided to use the loops that they provide here in the soundtrack. I'm gonna go ahead and mute just the shakers so you can hear exactly what they add to the track. So you got this one shaker up here. That's all that's doing. And then you have congas in here. And then you have a triangle part in here. So as you can see, it just adds a little bit of sugar on top. One other element that comes in here at like just before the ninth bar is this little punch reverse, which is just a synth melody that I added just to break up some of the repetitiveness. Repetitiveness is not a terrible thing because it gives a listener a sense of home, and that is really what gets a track stuck in someone's head. Is just because they can just keep hearing that. Maybe they just keep hearing the chorus replay in their head. It's just the repetitive part about it, but you don't want it to become redundant. So that's why I added this little synth part right here. It's kind of behind the scenes, but it kind of breaks up some of that repetitiveness. And I just play it so you can hear it. It comes in right here. So yeah, it's just a little just a little melodic line. I might just solo that for you guys. Yeah, so just a little something, something to break up all of this looping that you can see it's going on here. Um, a good practice is just to reintroduce musical ideas. Like I said before, the repetitiveness, there's a good and bad to it. If you do it right, it won't become annoying, and it'll give the song just a great foundation in general. Um, I just want to skip to the end here. All right, so this is where the drum parts switch up. And this is my favorite part of the piece because one thing that a typical song would usually want to switch up the drum beat, they might switch it up once and then they'll come back to the same previous drum beat. But I really can't choose when it comes to drums because I'm also a percussionist, so I just had to have it all. I think I had like three different drum beats in here, three different percussion parts. But I just want to take a listen to these last couple of bars we got on the song. And we no longer have piano, so we have a alto sax on here. And then we introduced the tambourine. Still got that same synth coming at the end. So yeah, you get the idea. It's kind of like before I had the punch reverse come in as a new musical idea, and then I took that same concept of recycling musical ideas to give it a sense of home by adding the punch at the end with all of these new musical ideas that I added. Without it, you might have lost um, exactly what I was going for the song. Like it might have sounded like two completely different songs had I not added that same element before at the end. Um, Forgot to mention that the sax solo that we have here at the end, I did not create this. You always have to give credit when doing. I did not create this alto sax part. Mr. Galloway, some of you may have had him as a teacher, but Mr. Galloway put that on there for me, and I was amazed by that. I can't really break that down for you because I didn't put that in there myself, but that was a great element that I thought it was great to add just because I brought the piano part out. So you kind of need another counter melody to go with that bass line. And we continue this bass line out through a whole song because that's the foundation. So you kind of need that bass line in there. Um so yeah, that's pretty much how I came up with it. I think one of the things that make this song stand out is the fact that the bass line is not only the foundation, but it's also the melody, which isn't super common in songs nowadays. Usually the melody will be given to a piano or a guitar. Um, Bass would usually just serve as the bass line, like, the foundation, not technically the melody. But here we have it as being kind of its own little melody, and then I kind of built everything else around it. Another aspect of this song that makes it unique is the fusion of all the different genres. As you can see, it has Latin breaks, a salsa, a mambo, and then you come towards the end, and we have drum beats that kind of sound rockish, they kind of sound hip hop, and that's really how you come up with this unique, unheard of sound that anyone from any culture could really vibe to and bob their heads to because it's not just one genre, but it's like the fusion of all of them. So this is how I came up with my Midwest type beat. And the sound quality of all of these tracks is not the best, but I plan on making a separate video to show you how I would go about mixing everything. This is just production wise. So yeah, this is all.